Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, I can't believe that I've been here 50 years. How can that be? I don't feel it. Can't conceive of it. But in fact, in August of 1966, the pipe organ did arrive, I'm told, and so did I in Houston. And then 10 months later, I was hired as the organist here. Now, I've got to tell you, it was one of my great dreams to get to know more Jewish people, because I came from a little town in Indiana that had no Jewish residents. So only when I went to Indiana University did I meet Jewish students, and I thought, aren't they fascinating? I'd like to know more Jewish friends. So you're a dream come true in lots of ways. And then I came here and hadn't been here but several months, and took my resume around to one of the places was University of Houston, where Dr. Horvit was, and he was looking for an organist. And God moves in mysterious ways. You have been one of the great gifts of my lifetime. I mean, enormous gifts of my life. So, I'll compose myself here, but it'll always be to me one of the great miracles. It has opened doors to a whole depth of beauty and understanding. The Jewish enlightenment, the Jewish thinking is, I believe, way ahead of almost everybody else. And Jewish music itself is so beautiful. It's changed my life. When I joined the staff in 1967, the golden age, I would call it, of reform. Don't think I've heard it called that, but I think that's appropriate. The golden age of Reformed Jewish sacred music was flourishing. And I'd never heard anything like it, because there isn't anything else like your wonderful Jewish sacred music. It's written for choirs. Of course, I was hired as an organist, so the part I came into was the part that used choirs and organs, and it grew out of an expression of the Jewish Reform movement, the Jewish German Reform movement. So, it began in a country where the culture was predominantly Christian, and it had to find its own way. It began by trying to adapt Jewish text to Christian songs, and that didn't work. So, but over a period of time, the brilliant Jewish composers began to find their way. And they began to explore the organ as their own instrument, and they learned to write for it in a Jewish way. The composers back then, many were still alive, that had come from Europe and from war-torn countries. They have since, of course, almost all disappeared from the scene. Almost all are blessed memory now. One of the youngest ones is Dr. Michael Horvit, who was our director of music for years. He was one of the great, again, a great gift to me, a mentor. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now without Mike Horvit's direction, without his explaining things and teaching by example. And so it was, again, a great gift that taught me how to do Jewish music. I especially, another composer, Mike Horvit, by the way, learned to write brilliantly for the organ. And that's a hard thing to do if you're not an organist, because it has lots of strangeness to it that you have to know, a lot of difficult things to it. Yet he learned it, and he's one of my favorite composers for the instrument. Then one of the other composers of organ music that I've loved is Dr. Herman Berlinsky. And some of you have met him because he was here with the Dresden Choir. I wrote my doctoral dissertation on him at Rice University, and he became a dear, dear friend and a great mentor. He was a wonderful storyteller. He could tell things in a way that you would remember forever, probably in great Jewish tradition. He was a priceless gift to me. There are so many people to thank for the richness and delightfulness of these last 50 years at Emmanuel. Thanks, first of all, to the brilliant rabbis, the senior rabbis, Rabbi Kahn of blessed memory, who hired me, and who could, as I was told, and I was right, who could read the telephone book, and it sounded like God speaking, didn't it? Rabbi Walter, who supported and encouraged every part of our music program into his entire rabbinate in the pulpit here. And now Rabbi Hayom, who is leading us into the future with wonderful musical leadership. Thanks for the wonderful staff that have supported us from me and the music program from the very beginning. And then thanks to the choir members I've gotten, here's to the choir. Here to the choir members I've gotten to work with and enjoy. Some of you, I saw Lewis out there, some of you were children's choir members in Emmanuel's choirs, and what fun you were. I see many of you all the time, and I have to look carefully at the eyes to see if I really know you, because I knew you as children. Then thanks to our professional octet. They're one of the finest professional choral ensembles in the city of Houston, and I dare say in all of Judaism. They're really wonderful. Each is a professional musician and a wonderful musician in his or her own right. And then our remarkable volunteer choir, who keeps me smiling, who has developed an expanded repertoire of both sacred music for services and secular music, and also is now performing programs throughout the city, music of Broadway and the Great American Songbook. And one of them asked me if we were going, and seriously, if we were doing something from our Broadway repertoire today. And last but not least, thanks to you, the congregation, for your warmth and love and friendship over all these years. You've enriched my life, and you've made me smile. You are the best. You're a hard act to follow. After I've been here so many years, I automatically, think of every congregation as needing to be that much fun. You're the best, and you know how to make life a banquet. Thanks for all the wonderful memories, and here's to the new chapters ahead. Thank you. Thank you for the gift.